Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Julie Kay with days 1 through 7 of my December daily journal. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel, and today I will be sharing with you guys my December daily for this year. Again, last month I created a traveler's notebook / December daily that I planned on using for my design team project from Tsunami Rose. And so I just wanted to show you guys my progress so far, and so I have days 1 through 7 in here, and again I will be posting next week sometime my next set. And again, I'm just keeping it in this little leather part just for protection because I am choosing not to sew my whole signature together until the end. This will be my cover. So for right now, like I said, I just have it in this one just to kind of protect it a little bit. I'm just going to set that aside. And then I guess the other thing to remember is that I did print all my digital prints on just kind of some shinier paper. So there is going to be a glare, and there's nothing I can do about that. I'll try and hold it up and move it so you guys can see what it is a little bit better. But it is beautiful in real life just because it does have that shimmer to it. And I just wanted to answer one quick question. I had someone ask about what type of pens or what I could use for writing on that type of paper. And I found I could pretty much use anything. I've journaled with a Sharpie so far. I used a Papermate pen. I tried a Zig pen and also an American Craft Precision pen, and they all work. So with relatively little smearing. So anything works for writing on that paper. So I just wanted to answer that question real quick before I forgot. So when you open my December daily, again, I had the little pocket here. I did, as I talked about in my first video, wrote a list of journal prompts if I needed them. So I still have that in there. I also started just a little sheet, just with a journal card I had on hand. The pictures I want to add to my December daily, I have taken pictures on a couple of the days that I'm going to stick in here. But because I'm going to resize them and just add them all onto an 8.5 by 11 sheet, I just want to make sure I have enough pictures on there before I print them off. So I've just been writing the list of what I want to add in there. I also added, I do a lot of other paper craft stuff, and so I did sign up for one swap this month. And so I just wrote down all my information on there. I do that in any of the journals I work on. Whatever I'm currently working on craft-wise, I add that. So this was just for mini loaded envelope swap, and it's kind of a winter wonderland in a kind of a primitive, shabby vintage style. I've done most of it, but I just wanted to put down all my requirements in there. And then the other thing I always have in all my journals is a calendar. So Daisy, who owns Tsunami Rose, does have quite a few different calendars in her shop. I don't know if she has any Christmas ones. I'll have to look, because if you do Daisy, I would love to have a Christmas one. But I do have some Rose ones, and so I just use those because I already had them printed. I do actually use these. I just have one of these actually sitting in the kitchen too, just with the small little things that we need to know about so that both me and my husband can remember. So I just started filling in things where we know things are happening. So I have that in my pocket. On day 1, I guess, like I said, this is a digital kit. And again, sorry about the glare. There's not much I can do about it because it's that shimmer paper, but it's really pretty. Every day I do stamp what the date is, December 1st. I added on this one a time for giving. That was part of the ephemera pieces from the digital kit that Daisy gave me last month to work with. And so it just was appropriate for what I was journaling about. Our families only exchange gifts, or we only give gifts to the kids. The adults, we don't exchange gifts. Instead, we take what we would normally spend on buying gifts for each other or for our parents or whatever. We instead do a charity or a cause that we believe in. And some years we all join together and do something together, and some years we each do separate things. And so I first started journaling about how we started doing this. It was something that my husband started us on after his brother passed away. And so I talked about that, and then I also briefly talked about that this year we're choosing to do something together, and we're putting together little baskets full of items that homeless people who are moving into their own apartments are going to be able to use. A local organization where my parents live does this. They help, get like first month's rent paid and deposits and that kind of stuff. But they also like to give the families when they move into these houses, because a lot of these people have been living in shelters or in cars. They like to be able to give them brand new items that they have. So for the kitchen, like pots and pans and knives and those kind of things. So I journaled about that a little bit, that's what we've chosen to do as a family. And we talked about it at Thanksgiving when we were together. And we actually did a little pre-shopping on Thanksgiving with some of the Thanksgiving deals and Black Friday deals and stuff, just so we could be able to buy more with our money. In the pocket, I did add one receipt so far of some stuff that we've already purchased, my husband and I. And then I also started lists. I'm still waiting to get from my dad the full list of what they require you to have in the baskets, and then of course you can throw in anything extra. And they do like you to put all the items in like a laundry basket or else an actual garbage can, so then they're brand new, and then again the families have a new laundry basket or a garbage can to use, and then they shrink wrap them. And so we've chosen to do 2 families of 4. But so we started, like I said, because they have lists, and so we started writing the things down we knew were on the list, or my dad remembered were on the list, like the pots and pans and the silverware and the dishes and the glasses, those kind of things. So I've put a little check by some of the ones that we've already purchased. My husband and I went out and purchased on Black Friday. Or actually, we went out on Thanksgiving after we were done, because we had a local store open and they had some great deals on some of that stuff. So we did that. So I just added that here. So when I go shopping now later this week and next week, I have my lists ready to go. And hopefully by then my dad will have given me the official list too, so I can add whatever we've forgotten on that list. The next page, December 2nd, I just added this little ticket, and again stamp the date, and then I have, again, we just do gifts for the kids. So I thought this one was funny, this little card right here, and so I just put that there because I thought it was funny. And then underneath there, I just wrote down the Christmas gifts that I need to buy, and again, these are just for my nieces and nephews who are young enough. Anyone who's over a certain age, they're part of the family gifts that we do to charity. So those are the 4 people I need to buy gifts for. And so then on the back of this one, I started writing what I've already purchased. And in the pocket, I had the 3 kids that live in town or near me, my sister's kids, write down what they wanted, their wish list. Sometimes I buy what they have on their list. Some years I have other ideas, but so I put those down, and those are in the pocket here. And then I added a little baker's twine, and this was actually some twine. Last month I went to my niece's, she was in a play, it was a Dr. Seuss musical, and I went to the dinner theater, and all the silverware were wrapped up in this really nice baker's twine. So I took some and put it in my purse, just because I knew I could be able to add it to some of my crafting stuff. So December 3rd, I just journaled about, I create my own Christmas cards every year. And so I kind of seem to have lost my mojo for making cards. And part of my problem was, as I really like to embellish and add lots of 3D objects onto my cards, but since I mail them and it gets to be expensive, I need to keep them flat. So I realized that was part of my problem, is that they just seem too basic for me, being flat. But so I journaled about that and how I just went to Pinterest to look for some ideas, and I added this little penguin, which is one of the little rubber stamps I used on some of my cards. And then in the pocket here, I wrote down, because sometimes when I go to Pinterest looking for ideas, I'm not one to ever copy anybody's work. but I get inspired by it, and so I just drew out some designs after looking at some things and just wrote some of my own notes for some ideas for some flat basic cards that I could send out in the mail. So like I said, I did come up with something, and now the next few days I'm going to finish them up. I have all my paper cut. I have all my penguins cut. I just got to glue everything together and then start writing on my cards and getting them in the mail before the end of the month. So that was December 3rd. December 4th, I just wrote down, you know, I added this little sentiment up here that said Jesus is the reason for the season. And I just really briefly wrote about my nativity. I have a nativity, it's called a Fontanini nativity, which they're created in Italy. And my mom has purchased me one piece every year since I've been a young girl, and so I do put it up every year. I have purchased a lot of pieces myself, so I just said that I finished putting that up. I am going to take a picture of it. I do take a picture of it every year, and so I will stick that in here when I have printed my pictures off. December 5th, I finished putting up, I have an angel collection that my mom gifted me, and so I just wrote about that. And then I did some stamping with a quote from the Bible about angels. So that's what I did for that day. And again, just stamped the date. December 6th, I based it off of a sticker when I was in my craft room that just said snowflakes are winter's music. So it just reminded me of all the Christmas music I've been playing this month. So again, I stamped December 6th. I also added this little caroler here. And what I was doing there is I just was covering up on the actual digital piece of paper. It had like the word December 25th on it, and I just wanted to cover that up. So that's why I added that little cute little kid there. But I just journaled that I love singing and listening to Christmas music, and that I wished I could only carry a tune because I can't. I'm pretty bad. And then I also wrote that I drive my husband Kelly nuts just because he gets tired of all the Christmas music. And so then I just listed some of my favorites off the top of my head that I enjoy listening to at Christmas time. December 7th, which is today, I journaled about the 12 days of Christmas, and that actually is my nieces and nephews are doing the 12 days of Christmas for my sister and her husband as gifts. And so and my mom is helping them with the majority of it, but they had asked me if I could help with a couple things. Just because they're on a very limited budget, they don't get a huge allowance, but they do buy their parents gifts every year, which I think is really sweet. But instead of it being on the first day of Christmas from my true love, they're doing from my little loves, I think, is how they're doing it. But they had asked me if I would help with, on one of the days, they're giving their parents reading material. And so I have a local thrift store here and also the local library where I live. They have magazine bins that are free. And so I'm just going to go dig through them and grab some magazines for them. And they were also asking for help from me because my sister scrapbooks, so they were wondering if I had some scrapbooking paper that they could have. So I just journaled about that, and I have the whole list because my mom typed it up and she sent it to me on email, so I am going to print it off and I'll attach that here just so I remember what the kids did because it was kind of cute. And I already started a little bit for tomorrow because we have company coming for the weekend, and so I started the menu of what we for sure we're going to have. I have a grocery list on the back side that I need to pick up. I also started writing my little bit of cleaning list and last minute things I want to do before our company gets here for the weekend. So, and I'll just transfer these to tomorrow's date, and then when I journal, whatever I decide to journal on, these will be on that page over here for tomorrow, or not this page right here for December 8th. So I did already stamp the date for tomorrow while I was stamping this morning. So so that's ready to go. So that is my journal so far. Again, I'll hop back on next week and show you guys my next week's worth of progress. If you guys have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear about them. And I hope you guys are all having a wonderful week, and I wish you guys all a happy weekend.